How are you guys? Running a little late today. As I'm getting stuff up here. I hope all is well. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. There we go. Pulling up all my stuff, y'all. As you're coming in, if this is your first time, let me know. And definitely drop in the comments where you're watching from. As I'm getting everything up here. Running slow, running slow. Make sure to like the live. Make sure to share the live with anybody that you think will benefit from this live. And we'll get started in just a second here. Okay. So tonight we are talking about attacking our fears. Hello, Shavonia. How are you? We're talking about attacking our fears tonight. And hey, I need to hear this too, y'all. I'm not perfect. A lot of times when I am talking to y'all, I am also talking to myself. Today hasn't been, well, this week, I don't know, this weekend, maybe the end of last week too. Like these past couple, I'll just say the past couple of days. These past couple of days have been like tough for me, a bit frustrating. I'm like highly irritable. It's just like been one of those like couple of days, or like those cycle of days where things just kind of just keep piling up, piling up, piling up. So those have been the last couple of days for me, but definitely am challenging myself, forcing myself to move forward and not just face fears, but face things that that just aren't the easiest things to deal with, right? Like just like the common frustrations of life. Sometimes those create anxieties and fears. So I'm preaching to myself today, guys, just so you know. And I have 7, let's see, do I have 7? Yes. I have 7 affirmations on attacking our fears. And if it is definitely take notes. If you feel like you need to take notes, definitely do that. Write down the affirmations that I'm sharing. And if you need to change the language, feel free to change the language. If you need to adjust anything at any rate, definitely do so. Just a second here. Okay. All right. So, facing fears. First, we just want to define what fear is, right? Fear is an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat. So I'm going to read it again. It says, fear, an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or threat. Hey, Hiru, how are you? Oh, hey, Kiki, how are you? Welcome in, welcome in. So I'm just going through, we're talking about attacking our fears. We're going through the definition of fear, so I'll say it one more time. An unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat. The most important word that I want you guys to take away from this definition is the word belief, right? An unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or threat. Keyword belief, okay? So just because you believe something is there doesn't necessarily mean that it's there. right? So that's the first thing I want us to understand about our fears, is that it's a belief. It's in our imagination. It's something that we have seen in the future, or proceeded to see in the future, or just based off of our past, we make decisions about our future. And it's a belief of something or someone's going to cause us danger, right? So really, when it comes to attacking our fears, is being able to decipher the difference between true fear and living in fear, right? True fear is a natural, instinctive response to an immediate threat or danger, right? Our bodies are designed to have a certain response when it senses danger, right? And that's the good part about it, right? Fear is actually there to help us. It's to help prevent us from getting any type of danger caused towards us, right? So that's what true fear is. But living in fear is the chronic state of worry and anxiety about potential dangers or negative outcomes, right? So there's true fear, the instinctive response of whatever's happening around us or to us. And living in fear is the chronic state of fear, right? Of worry and anxiety about potential dangers or negative outcomes. So, how do you know the difference between true fear and living in fear, right? So, living in fear is persistent, is usually irrational. It causes mental frustration and irritability. It's restrictive, so it prevents us from being productive. It causes, procrastination. It causes stagnation. It causes us to freeze. So there's so many different things that kind of happen when it comes to living in fear. The other one that's really important, or the last point, is that it's self-perpetuating, right? So it feeds itself. So if you have fear that's present, you can add more onto it, which makes it even bigger than what it really is. So that's how we start in one space where it's like, oh, it's okay. And then it kind of grows and it grows and it grows and it grows. And then it's just this big, huge fear that we're now unable to manage. So true danger is real and valid, but living in fear is honestly a choice. And I know that's probably hard to hear, but living in fear and continuing to live in that chronic state is a choice. So those are just a few of the points that I want you guys to really understand and taking into consideration when listening to these affirmations that I'm going to share. So we have 7 affirmations. I hope that was helpful. I hope that gave some insight to fear and the differences. There are some benefits to having fear. It's what protects our bodies and protects us. But on the other hand, it can create stagnation, frustration, and have you in a constant state of anxiety and worry. I don't know if anybody has seen Inside Out. I went to see it yesterday, and even with my old self, I fell asleep at certain points. It was very crucial and very, very enlightening with the parts that I talked about. And it deals a lot with anxieties and fears and things of that matter. So if you haven't seen it, if you have kids, take them to see Inside Out. If you don't have kids, you're not a creep. It's okay. Go see Inside Out because you definitely will benefit from it. So now, talking through the affirmations. Affirmations there are 7. Definitely, like I said, write them down however you wish to. Use them by putting them on Post-it notes, putting it in your journal. Change the language if you need to. If there's only a few that resonate with you, feel free to write down just the ones that resonate. But yeah, use your affirmations however you wish to. So what is going on, y'all? Okay, guess what I'm doing. Yeah, we're gonna dive into these just a minute. Okay. So, okay. So when it comes to is there two trolls, Joe? Is there two? Okay. There we go. Um, so the what was I talking about? Oh, the 7 affirmations. Okay. So the first one is I am stronger than my fears and choose to move forward with confidence. I am stronger than my fears and choose to move forward with confidence. I'll say it one more time. I am stronger than my fears and choose to move forward with confidence. So, understanding that operating in our fears is a choice, y'all. I said it earlier. Operating in our fears is a choice. At a certain point, we have to say, okay, enough is enough. I'm able to overcome this, right? I'm able to push forward. I'm able to move past this, right? So, I am stronger than my fears and choose to move forward with confidence. Thank you so much for putting that in the chat. I appreciate it. So that's number 1. Number 2, fear is just a feeling. It does not control my outcomes. Fear is just a feeling. It does not control my outcomes. What is happening, y'all? I'm getting a lot of trolls today, y'all. They'll get tired. I'm like, it's heavy today. I'm like, what is happening? So where was I at? Fear is just a feeling. It does not control my outcomes. So understanding that even though fear is present, it does not mean that your outcomes are going to be negative, right? So just because you have fear, just because it's present, it doesn't mean that success still can't happen. There's so many times where even just through life where you approach a certain situation and there's fear present, but you keep pushing forward, whether it's big or small, and it still ends up being successful. So just because fear is there, it doesn't mean that it's actually going to dictate how the outcome of the situation, or it may make it seem like the outcome of the situation may be negative or bad, but that's not necessarily the case. So it's just a reminder that fear is just a feeling. It does not control my outcomes. That's number 2. Number 3, I embrace the unknown and trust in my ability to handle it. I embrace the unknown and trust in my ability to handle it. I'll say one more time. I embrace the unknown and trust in my ability to handle it. So a lot of times when it comes to like fear, it's because of our fear of the uncertainty. So when it comes to fear of uncertainty, that's usually what's like holding us back. So when it comes to embracing the unknown, when you embrace the unknown, it kind of makes that fear dissipate. So making sure to, when you're exploring why you're fearful or you're trying to understand where the fear is coming from, most of the times it's rooted in some form of uncertainty. And once you're able to have awareness and identify what that uncertainty is, then have the power in that moment to say, okay, I'm going to embrace this uncertainty. I'm going to embrace that I don't know what's happening right now. I'm going to embrace the fact that the future is coming, but I don't know what's going to happen in that future. The more that you're able to accept and embrace that, the more the fear either subsides or dissipates completely. So for example, if we do some examples here for that. For me, I think I've talked about this before where I went through a layoff. I want to say like over a year ago. Was it over a year ago? Yeah, it actually wasn't over. It was over a year ago. So I went through a layoff, and there's a lot of uncertainty in that, right? There's a lot of uncertainty of losing your job unexpectedly. Yeah, you may get a severance package. Yeah, you may get, benefits for a certain period of time, but there is some level of uncertainty. So when it comes to living in fear, you can sit in the fear that whole time, those 6 months or 7 months or whatever that you're looking for a job. And that will bring more pain, more stress, more anxiety. Or you can get to the root of, okay, I know that me not having a job is uncertain. These are the things that are certain for me right now. What's certain for me right now is that I have a severance package. What's certain for me right now is that I have my unemployment. What's certain for me right now is that I can sit and build a resume. Can take action. So there's so many things that you can do to kind of find certainties within the uncertainty to make sure that you are able to push forward. So that's all that really is saying, is embracing the unknown, figuring out and having awareness of that unknown, and taking the time to embrace that, to accept that. And the more that you accept and embrace that, the easier it is for you to push forward and for that fear to subside. So that was number 3. Number 4, I release my fears and replace them with peace and optimism. I release my fears and replace them with peace and optimism. I'll say that again. I release my fears and replace them with peace and optimism. That's all about mind shifting your mindset to release the fear. But anytime that you release an emotion or anytime that you release anything, you have to replace it with something. Right? So if you release that fear, you have to instantly replace it with love, instantly replace it with peace, instantly replace it with a new mindset, instantly replace it with positivity. Because if you don't, if you leave it open, it may be replaced with outside environmental factors, right? So with those outside environmental factors, that could be negative or it could be positive. But if you're intentional about what you're replacing it with, that's what's most important. So you have to release the fear, letting it go, but instantly replacing it with peace and optimism is key. Okay, that's number 4. If you haven't already, make sure to like the live. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already as well. Don't forget to do that today. We have about 3 more affirmations left on fear. Okay, next one. Number 5, I am brave, bold, and resilient, and face my fears with strength and determination. I am brave, bold, and resilient, and face my fears with strength and determination. I'll say that one more time. I am brave, bold, and resilient, and face my fears with strength and determination. So understand that you have the ability to be brave. You have the ability to be bold. You have the ability to be resilient. Those are choices. Those are a choice that you make. It's not, I know sometimes I've heard people say, oh, well, I'm not that brave, or I'm not that bold, or I'm not that forward. You can be. You just have to make the choice to do so, right? It's not, it may come to some people more naturally. Yeah. It may come to people more naturally, but that doesn't mean that you can't embody brave or being brave, or you can't embody boldness, or you can't be resilient. Those are all things that you choose. Those are all choices. They're not a character trait, right? So I am brave, bold, and resilient, and face my fears with strength and determination. Facing your fears with strength and determination is very important too. A lot of times we're not able to push forward because we're half trying, because of how frustrated or irritated we may be. And the half try isn't going to get you as far as you putting your all into it, putting all of your strength, putting all of your might, putting all your determination and fight into it. So a lot of times fear takes over and we end up not meeting our goals or not getting to where we want to be because we're not giving our all for whatever reason. So I'm brave, bold, and resilient. Those are choices. And I face my fears with strength and determination, which is just basically trying your best, doing the best that you can. Is your best always going to be a success? Not necessarily. Sometimes you'll try your best and it may not be a success, but at least you can walk away from that situation saying that you tried your best, right? You would hate to walk away from a situation and you say, I could have did better, or I could have tried a little bit more here, or I half did this. This wasn't even my best work, and you have to walk away from a situation like that, right? So understanding you're brave, you're bold, you're resilient. You just have to make the choice to be so, and face your fears with strength and determination. That's number 5. Number 6, my fear is temporary, but my courage is permanent. My fear is temporary, but my courage is permanent. I'll say that one last time. My fear is temporary, but my courage is permanent. Fear is a feeling, it's temporary, temporal. Courage, again, is a choice, right? So choices are permanent, feelings are temporary, right? So my fear is temporal. My fear is temporary. It's going to come and it's going to go. It's going to pass, right? So if I know that about fear, when I feel fear, I have to remind my mind, I have to remind myself and say, hey mind, what up? Hey self, what up? That's how I talk to myself. Hey self, myself said, and then, you know what I'm saying? So, hey self, this is fear. It's temporary. Let it pass. I'm going to do this anyway. I'm going to have courage and do this anyway. My fear is temporary, but my courage is permanent. So understand that. Number 7, this is the last one. I am worthy of a life free from fear and step outside my comfort zone with confidence. I am worthy of a life free from fear and step outside of my comfort zone with confidence. I'll say that one more time. I am worthy of a life free from fear and step outside of my comfort zone with confidence. So at the end of the day, all of this is all well and good, but it means nothing if you don't feel like you're worthy of a life free of fear, right? If you don't feel like you're worthy of a life that doesn't have fear or removes fear. Now, granted, you're not going to be able to remove fear completely, right? But you have the ability to, even when fear is present, to keep going and to push forward. And you're worthy of that, right? Sometimes we are so used to fear that it's our comfort zone. Fear in itself is our comfort zone sometimes. Depending on the trauma that you've experienced in life, you feel more comfortable when you're fearful because that sounds more comfortable. That feels more comfortable for you. You missed 6. Number 6 was my fear is temporary, but my courage is permanent. My fear is temporary, but my courage is permanent. That was number 6. Number seven, I am worthy of a life free from fear and step outside of my comfort zone with confidence. Okay? So just understand that you have to first feel worthy of a fearless life, right? And again, like I said, fearless is subjective, right? You were never going to necessarily be 100% without fear, because fear is a natural, again, going back to the top. What is the definition of fear? Fear is true fear is a natural instinctive response to an immediate threat or danger. Our bodies are designed to respond to danger with fear to keep us protected, right? So we're not going to 100% get rid of fear. I don't even think when people say fearless, they actually think that it's like actually without fear. Fearless is more so of feeling the fear, but continuing to go and do it anyway, right? Feeling the fear, knowing and understanding and aware that it's present, but in spite of that, you make the choice to have courage, to be bold, to be brave, right? So just understanding that until you feel worthy of that, you're going to continue to have consistent issues with fear, anxiety, and worry. And I say that as someone who was an anxious person, or has been, I'm not even going to claim it anymore, has been in the past an anxious person, right? Or has experienced anxiousness. Got to change your verbiage. I'm not anxious. I'm not going to say I'm anxious. I'm going to say I'm experiencing anxiety. That's what I'm experiencing, but that doesn't mean that it is who I am, right? So that was number 7. I'll go back to the top for all of the affirmations just in case anyone missed them, but this will be saved. This live will be saved. Number 1 is I am stronger than my fears and choose to move forward with confidence. Number 2 is fear is just a feeling. It does not control my outcomes. Number 3, I embrace the unknown and trust in my ability to handle it. Number 4, I release my fears and replace them with peace and optimism. Number 5, I am brave, bold, and resilient and face my fears with strength and determination. Number 6, my fear is temporary, but my courage is permanent. Number 7, I am worthy of a life free from fear and step outside of my comfort zone with confidence. So this was 7. Kiki, I'm glad to hear you needed this one. Yes, you do slay every affirmation session. Thank you so much for coming and joining. One thing that I will leave you guys with when it comes to fear, again, I said at the top of the video, I'm talking to myself. Okay? I'm talking to myself today as well because I haven't had the best past couple of days. But one thing I'll say about fear is that when it comes to our nervous system's response to fear is the same response to excitement. So our body doesn't know the difference. Our minds are what tells our body what the difference is between excitement and fear. So sometimes we have to trick our bodies into thinking our fears are excitement, so that way it settles and calms itself to move forward. And the way that you do that is up here. Is by shifting your mindset. When you're feeling fear, instead of you saying, I'm fearful, I'm afraid, I'm excited, I'm excited. Replacing it. I always do that when I go, like when I have to do like any type of class, like if I teach a workshop or I just did an event where it was someone that was a little bit more of a higher status, a political person that I was interviewing and talking about mental health, and I was nervous. I had to tell myself, nope, we're not fearful. We're excited. And usually my heart rate would start to kind of subside. I'll kind of calm down and it'll be an air of confidence. So you have to trick your body sometimes when it comes to fear to tell it what's happening versus your body telling you what's happening. Rooting for you. I know you're rooting for me and all of the subscribers. Yes, of course. I'm always rooting for everyone. I pray for everyone that watches my content. Pray for you guys. Pray for your families. I hope all is successful and well with you. And I pray daily. Anyone that's attached to me is a winner. Anyone that's attached to me has success. Anyone that's attached to me has some form of solace and peace and happiness. And I pray for that daily for all of my subscribers, for anybody that watches I say what I say in my prayer is anyone that watches my content, they are also attached to me, and anyone attached to me is a winner. Anyone attached to me is going to have success. That's going to have love. They're going to have peace in their lives. They're going to have solace. They're going to have mental well-being. Yes, a great mental well-being. They're going to have all of these things. So yes, I keep you all in my prayers. I hope that this was helpful. This was from our poll, I believe. So I probably will do another poll at the end of the week to see what we want to talk about next week. But if there's any topics that you guys want to hear us talk about, let me know in the comments. If it's something we already talked about, I'll probably direct you to the live that we talked about it in. And if it's not, I'll add it to the list. We'll add it to the poll and we'll keep going. Y'all all have a great rest of your night and God bless. Bye.